In my last post, I spoke about how dangerous Zionism is, that it is the main ideology that causes the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And I got some feedbacks saying, well, it's not Zionism, it's Islam, the Islamic religion. Well, anti-Semitism started in Europe, not in any other country other than in Europe. The Holocaust itself, probably the most significant reason for the creation of the State of Israel, was not in any of the Islamic country. It was in Europe. Has nothing to do with Islam. The Jews moved to Palestine not because they were attracted to Islam. They ignored the Muslim. They didn't respect the Muslims. And then, subsequently, when they became strong, they expelled the Muslims. They did not want the Muslims in Palestine. And they destroyed their villages, hundreds of villages, in order to erase any trace of Palestinians in Palestine. And then subsequently, they occupied the Palestinians in the West Bank and in Gaza and imposed a cruel system of apartheid on the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza. Most of them are Muslims. And they also created a prison in Gaza, not allowing them to have access to the outside world for 20 years. If it was Islam, then how would you explain the reality that 20% of Israel's so-called democracy is Muslim? They participate in the Israeli democracy fully. Not only are they participating in the Israeli democracy fully, they're doing so despite the fact that Israel declares itself time and time again that it's a Jewish state. How would you then explain that Israel is making peace with other Muslim countries? If it is the Islamic religion that is the cause of the conflict, why go out and make peace with Egypt, with Jordan, with Morocco, with Saudi Arabia, with other countries? It has nothing to do with Islam. Islam is not responsible for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It is Zionism. And it is time that we stop using Islam to scapegoat the Palestinians, to justify the failure of the Israeli democracy, the Jewish democracy, to justify Zionism as a needed ideology. It's time that Zionism looks at itself in the mirror and understand and admit that it is the cause, that Zionism is the cause of the conflict and always has been the cause of the conflict. Now, I know that Zionism is not going to do that. Most Israelis are staunch Zionists. And would not accept what I'm saying right now. However, nevertheless, peace is necessary. The Israeli government has never been able to give peace to the Israeli or the Palestinian people. It never will be, because Zionism needs enemies. The Israeli Jewish state needs enemies. It needs enemies to justify its existence as a Jewish state. Without enemies, Israel cannot justify itself as a Jewish state. It constantly needs enemies. And this is why it is a danger to the Jewish people, the Israeli people, the Palestinians, the Muslims, the Christians, all the people who reside in that area. And this is why I'm proposing creating a common federal government that would separate between religion and government, that would be independent and separate from the Israeli government and the Palestinian governments, that would be common to the entire population in Israel, Palestine, 14 million people, with a common parliament, with a common president and vice president, and a common judicial branch. A true, honest democracy that will work day in and day out to make peace and give security to the Palestinian and the Israeli people together. Thank you.